Are you feeling all these waves of chaos and wonder what the heck is going on? Is this all there is? Why does it seem like life is getting worse instead of better? Well, you have to be aware of what part of you is perceiving what's going on. Because when we look at life from the third dimension and from the ego, it looks pretty bleak. And that doesn't mean we deny what's going on, but we have to start awakening our fourth and fifth dimension self, our spirit, our higher self, our divine nature, and start looking around and seeing behind all this chaos and crazy are all these beautiful spirits that are trying to grow. And you want to be part of that growth, part of that healing, part of that awareness that there's more that meets the eye. And if I start living in my spirit, I start using my intuitive faculties, I start connecting with my divine nature and my divine support, I can actually affect and improve my own life for sure, but also others. My name is Sonia Choquette. Thanks for joining me today. If you've been following me, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining me on this grand journey to live multidimensionally. And now we're moving into a new period of the conversation where I want to start talking about how to live with our higher faculties taking over and putting them to practical work by learning to read the energy of life accurately so that we make the best, most creative, most fluid, positive, loving, connected, healing decisions we can make. That's the next step. First, we wake ourselves up and know there's more than meets the eye. My energy body, my spirit is my true self. We start becoming aware that I have these faculties and they're natural. And now I have to use them so that I live in this world differently and I become part of the solution that this world is craving. And I don't stay stuck in the chaos that the lower ego's mind continues and has created for so long that it's just horrifying. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about waking up the multidimensional self. We've been working on that for quite some time, and now we're going to start using tools to put that awakened spiritual self into the driver's seat of our life and start observing and perceiving and interpreting life from a more accurate and more intuitive perception so that we become empowered creators, not victims of our own fears and others' fears and really limited, closed-minded perceptions and mistakes. Last time we talked, I was saying how we want to start looking for what is beautiful, for what is actually happening in front of us. We have to start learning to experience ourselves in this world and be present and read the room, if you will, accurately. So that's what we're going to talk about today, reading the room. And it starts by reading your own room, which is your own body. You're not going to be able to operate very comfortably in this world and very safely, securely, very intelligently if you're disconnected from your body. Because our intuitive faculties are just like our five senses are on the outside, our touch, taste, smell, we all see. Our inner faculties are just as perceptive, but they're inside. They're not up here, they're in our being. So this week, I want you to start getting connected to your body. It might seem like a new thing for you, but you can tell if you're connected to your body, if you can identify how you feel. And not just physically or not just emotionally feel, but can you feel energy? Now, I started this the last time we talked, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to invite you to take your hands and shake them out like this. And I want you to feel the energy that goes from palm to palm. Feel that energy. Can you feel that? And if you can't, you're up in your head, which doesn't feel anything. So open your jaw, drop into your heart space. Feel the energy. Put it over here, put it here, feel it around your head. And begin to recognize that this isn't some fantasy. This is me radiating out. And you know how you walk by some people and they give you a good vibe and your heart just opens? It happens with me every time I'm around my granddaughter. I just have to think about her and bam, open heart. Big time. But then you might walk by someone else, maybe behind you. You ever feel a stranger watching you behind you or someone uncomfortable, and you can feel their energy. And what do you do with that? Do you pay attention? Do you notice? Do you allow yourself to take care of yourself? I have a client who was saying she takes a ferry back and forth in New York to her home every day after work. And she said there was a person on the ferry who looked perfectly normal, but felt incongruent to her. So we're not going to say it was a bad guy, but just it wasn't a good vibrational match. But her mind overrode that, and she said, wait a minute, I'm being judgmental. What's wrong with me? Talked herself out of the feeling. Well, took the ferry over, and she got up and started walking, and sure enough, he came up right behind her and started to be very forward and started to, say, what are you doing? Do you want to go out? He wasn't necessarily threatening, but certainly not welcomed, not wanted. And because she didn't move away and put out the wall of energy of protection or the shield of protection, he harassed her until someone had to interfere and say, hey, she doesn't want to talk to you. Leave her alone. And she kind of escaped. Now, that's a negative example, but it is the reason I start with the negative example is because our first intuitive faculty is protection. So your inner faculties, your spirit in your body, your inner compass in your body is reading the energies correctly and communicating back to you. But are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you validating what you hear, sense, and feel in a non-externally sensory way? It's all very subtle energy, but if we ignore it, will you become what I call a member of the woulda, coulda, shoulda club of missed opportunity? But I want to give you an alternate example that's also interesting of how what we tell ourselves can really convince ourselves of something other than what we're reading directly in life. When my mom was young, she married very young, and my dad took her when she was only 18, dancing. She was from another country. She hadn't come dancing in America. It was very exciting. She had never been to some outdoor dance party, and it's a big deal. So when my father and her got there, they danced a few dances, and he said to her, would you like a drink? And she didn't really understand English at the time, but she knew a drink made people happy. She understood alcohol, and she was like, me? You're going to offer me a drink? Thinking I'm so young. And he said, sure. So he got her a drink, a cocktail, and she was so delighted, and it was colorful with an umbrella, and bam, drank the whole thing down and was like, whoa, was that exciting? And she was so thrilled. She said, let's go dancing, and was uninhibited. And because she had seen that that's how other people were reacted to this cocktail. So dance crazy, and my dad said, you're crazy, and they were having fun. And after maybe 5 or 6 intense wild dances, she said, I'd like another cocktail. So my dad smiled at her and went and got her one, brought it back, same colorful drink, umbrella, bam, down the whole thing, felt wilder and uninhibited, and went dancing again. And she just was so spinning and dancing and twirling and laughing and carefree, because that's what cocktails did. Well, she asked for a third one after another series of dances, and my dad paused for a minute and said, are you sure? Well, please, I'm having so much fun. So he brought her another one, and she took a few sips and got really woozy and said, whoa. He's like, what's the matter with you? And she says, what do you mean what's the matter with me? I'm drunk. And he said, how can you be drunk? She goes, you put on all these cocktails. And he said, well, they're only lemonade. She was all of a sudden completely sober and went, okay, I didn't know. So that just shows you how our ego minds can convince us of realities that are 99% of us completely not true. and cause us to make decisions, be reactive, project, tell stories, not be present, and create chaos and confusion for ourselves, and we don't even know it. We have to come out of that, guys. We have to pull ourselves out of this internal kind of alternate reality and learn to be present. Even our brains just take snapshots of the things, and instead of being present, we're just looking at the snapshots. Someone told me before, those are bad people. So every time I see anything similar, bad person, when you have had no contact. I have friends who have said, I've had people call me because I live in Europe, and they say, I heard there's riots in your city. Oh my God, it must be burning to death. And it's actually, it's quite nice out, but you're being told it's this. So internally, you're experiencing a chaos that isn't happening. This is happening all over. So we need to recognize our skills in learning to discern accurately what's happening, to discern the energy of people in present time, right in front of us or right around us, discern the energy of space and situations and jobs and relationships accurately, then we're not going to be caught off guard. We're not going to be swooped up into our own alternate reality and then completely shocked that things aren't going the way our inner stories have told us. And this is our big shift. This is, I realize, a big invitation to come out of our internal fog, to come out of our internal fears and begin to use our intuitive faculties. And you know what I know? We're feeling them. We are definitely experiencing them. One is triggering another, and we are waking these faculties up, but we're not yet using them. And that's the next step. And what I want to really focus on now is how to use those intuitive awareness, perceptive skills to read life and make accurate choices that lead us into opportunity, take us away from situations that are threatening or awful or dangerous, that lead us to things that are life-enhancing, health-enhancing, that lead us away from relationships that are toxic, narcissistic, and damaging, that lead us into places that bring out our creativity, our heart, our love, our healing energy, and remove us from those circumstances that bring the worst out in us and have caused all these terrible judgments, choices that put us in the planetary mess we're in. Learning to read life, using your inner faculties, situation by situation, starting with yourself, is the next step in our evolution. So, don't ignore what you feel. Don't deny it. Don't let other people talk you out of it. Don't doubt it. Just acknowledge it. You don't even have to follow it necessarily, but acknowledge it. I feel, for example, here's the first one. I feel afraid. Who doesn't? The whole planet's on fire right now with fear. But stop, breathe, look around, right in front of you. Notice the most beautiful thing. Get grounded in your body. Breathe and say, do I feel fear because there's a dangerous situation right now? Or do I feel just general fear in the atmosphere, but I'm okay? That's the beginning. And process this out loud. Start to examine this out loud, because your intuition and your spirit is ready to speak. So give it a voice. Don't try to figure it out. You're up in your head and you're away from your intuition. Put your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly. What do I feel right now? Am I in danger? Let me feel that. No, I don't feel it. Am I feeling the anxiety of the planet? Yeah, it's not mine. These are little skills that we need to start learning bit by bit, one breath and decision at a time. Noticing your body, noticing your breath, noticing, is what I feel mine? Am I experiencing this internally, Or is it just general noise? Is it general anxiety? Is it an ungrounded place? Do I feel supported? Do I feel safe? And if not, give yourself permission to leave. So I'm going to go bit by bit in these particular conversations because we change in little bite sizes. We can't change in big leaps and bounds. So the biggest change I invite you to consider is the value of learning to read life in the moment, situations, people, circumstances, places, choices, energetically, to learn to be present and read life accurately so you make decisions that are coming from your spirit, that are coming from your heart, that keep you in the flow, safe, protected, connected, keeping those around you that you love safe, protected, connected, and creating a better and different version of life than the mess we've created so far. Thanks for tuning in. I'm very happy you're here. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you think someone you know might value this, share it. And if you really liked it, please stick with us by subscribing. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you read this energy accurately and see it's really an opportunity to become more empowered. You don't want to miss that. We need to change and grow, but we'll do it together. All my love. See you again.